before the fantasy basketball season's upon us, and here's a few forwards you should add heading into the week here. The first one's Royce ONeal of the Utah Jazz. ONeal, he's been starting the season, most of the ball games here for Utah, and last week he started to emerge as a pretty decent fantasy option. His averages were 9 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and he actually added 2.5 threes as well. 56% from the field, so those are pretty decent numbers for ONeal. He's going to put up stats. He's playing about 30-35 minutes a game, and the last few games last week he did decent. January 5th in Brooklyn, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 threes, 51% from the field. January 6th versus the Knicks, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 threes, and he was 50% from the field. And then at Milwaukee, in an upset victory, January 8th, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, a block, and 6 threes, 75% from the field. But last night versus Detroit, it was an off game with him with no points, but he still added 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. So Royce ONeal, he's doing pretty much everything in every category, and his three-point shooting's improved over the offseason to now. So ONeal, he's going to give you decent stats. He's playing major minutes. I know last night was an off game, but he's still definitely worth an add. And in this week coming up, he's got 3 games coming up, and he's available in 74% of fantasy leagues. The next guy's Mattress Wagner of the Washington Wizards. Wagner, he's going to get an expanded playing role now with Thomas Bryant unfortunately out for the season with a torn ACL, and in his first game with major action, Wagner in 20 minutes a couple nights ago, 13 points, 7 rebounds, an assist and a steal, and he added 2 threes. So Wagner, he's a stretch 4, stretch 5, but here I'll consider him more of a forward, and he's definitely worth the pickup. His playing time's going to go up. He's going to be a backup off the bench now for that position, with Robin Lopez probably stepping in as the starting center. And Wagner, like I said, he could hit threes, he could get a couple rebounds. And if a guy's going to play 20-25 minutes, he's definitely worth an add, especially in deeper leagues. And Wagner's available in 82% of fantasy leagues. The next forward I would try to get on waivers this week is Nicolas Batum. He's been on the list pretty much all season here. But people, they're not running to the wire still and getting them. And he's available still in half of fantasy leagues at 50%. And last week, another good week it was for Nicolas Batum. He averaged 13 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2.5 threes, and he shot 52% from the field. So Batum, he's doing a little bit of everything. His last 3 games last week versus Chicago last night, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a whopping 4 steals and a block. He played 28 minutes. Then at Golden State on January 8th, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes. And then at Golden State again, January 6th, they played him back-to-back, 13 points, 5 rebounds, a steal, and 3 threes. So Batum, he's getting double-digit points. He's getting a good amount of steals. And this season, he's been a better three-point shooter, which everyone pretty much has to be nowadays in the NBA, the way the game's evolved. So Batum, he's still going to play 25-30 minutes. I know Marcus Morris returned, but this guy, he gives a lot of intangibles to this Clipper team and fantasy owners, so he should be owned in more than 50% of fantasy leagues. The next forward I would add this week on waivers is Gary Harris of the Denver Nuggets. Harris, he's starting to get it going now. Maybe the health is finally getting there where he's feeling 100%, because Harris, early in the season, he just didn't have the lift or the pop, and he wasn't doing much. But now over the last week, Harris's stats have stepped up. 15 points he's averaged, 3.3 rebounds, an assist and a half a game, 2 threes, and a whopping 60% from the field from Harris. And his last few games, we've really seen it. January 7th versus Dallas, 15 points, 4 rebounds, an assist. He added a 3. Then versus Philly, January 9th, 21 points, 3 boards, an assist, a steal, and he added a whopping 5 threes. And then last night versus New York, 6 of 10 from the field, 14 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals, a block, 2 threes, and he's got 3 games coming up this week, Harris. He's starting for Denver. He's playing anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes a game, it seems like, and that's major minutes. Michael Porter Jr., I know he's still out, but Harris right now, he's definitely worth the pickup, and he's available in 85% of fantasy leagues, and I would go out there and get him. He's going to help you. He's not going to hurt your field goal percentage. He's going to hit 1.5 to 2 threes a game. And he could even average a steal a game about and get a few boards. So Harris, I think he's worth an ad. And the next forward is Eric Pascal of the Golden State Warriors. Pascal, he's definitely carving out a role right now for this Warrior team off the bench. And right now he's playing backup center. But in fantasy, he only qualifies at small forward and powered forward for now. And Pascal, the last 4 or 5 games, he's really getting it going. And his averages last week, in week 3, 15 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and he even hit a 3.5 a game and 52% from the field. And then his last few games, January 6, 19 points, 3 rebounds, and assists, 50% from the field. January 8th versus the Clippers, 12 points, 6 boards, and assist, 2 threes. And then last night versus Toronto, another great game, 15 points, 2 rebounds, and assist, and a 3, 50% from the field. So Pascal, he's playing about 20 minutes a game. He's the 6th man for this Golden State Warrior team, and he's definitely worth the roster spot. He's getting a major role. He was good last season, we saw him, when he filled in for the injuries. And again this season, he's got a good role. And with Marquise Chris out for the year, that's going to be his backup at center. So what I would add this week's Norman Powell of the Toronto Raptors. Powell, he's been playing good now the last few games, and he's really getting it going. Last week, a good average, 12 points, 1.5 rebounds, 0.3 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.8 threes a game, 41% from the field. Powell, he's available in 50% of fantasy leagues. And his last few games, like I said, have been good. January 6th, 26 minutes of play, 13 points, 1 rebound, and assist, a steal. Then versus Sacramento, January 8th, 22 points, 4 threes. He had 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 75% from the field. But last night at Golden State, not a great game. 9 points, 3 boards, and assists. But he's playing anywhere from 20, 25 minutes. Toronto this season, they've been struggling a lot. They only got 2 wins so far this year. And Powell, he's a player that's going to play major minutes over there. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to help this team, and I think he can help fantasy owners right now is Powell. So if he's out there in your league, he's a recommended ad. And the last forward I would add is Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks. Bobby Portis, he's been great so far this season. I thought he wouldn't have much of an impact for fantasy teams or the Bucks, but Portis, he's been playing about 20, 25 minutes a game on average. And last week he had a great week, 11.3 points a game, 9.3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal and a half a game, 57% from the field. And his game logs the last few games, January 6th versus Detroit, 16 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes. Versus Utah, it was a down game, 2 points, but he still added the 8 boards in 20 minutes, 20% from the field. And then he exploded in a spot start a couple nights ago versus Cleveland, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. So Portis, he's going to have a role no matter what for this Milwaukee Buck team. And he's got 4 games coming up this week, and he's available in 46% of fantasy leagues. So he's definitely a known. He's top 100 in rankings this year in fantasy. So if Portis, for some reason, is out there in your leagues, you got to go out there and get him. And that's a few forwards I would add on waivers this week, heading into week 4 of the fantasy basketball season.